Good morning, friends. The next piece in safety is about safety in the process of parenting. What do we do and say that leads to safety or lack thereof for our kids? So paying attention to what we experienced as kids, to be able to say, oh, this was not helpful for me. That was not good for me. One of the things, and I think I mentioned this before, is when I would run into parents who had adult children, and I was usually seeing the adult child in inpatient treatment due to addiction, substance addiction, and there would be a pattern in which one of the parents would do difficult things for them, which sent the message to the kid that the parent didn't believe in them, that they didn't think they were capable or smart enough. And so paying attention to the kinds of messages we're sending our kids when there is safety that's not present. I remember one of my sisters was the first one in our family to have kids, and they created this rule about physical boundaries. And, in our family growing up, you were tickled till you wet yourself, and there was no respect of stopping. And she initiated with her kids this process of please stop. Like that was, hey, if I'm really serious, please stop. And it was a piece for me that was really important to carry on with my own family of like, how do we communicate and respect physical boundaries? Whether that's something that is not welcome and not invited and things like that. When my kid was in kindergarten, they learned this thing called Kaifuti, which stands for keep your hands, feet, and other objects to yourself. And so sometimes we need to Kaifuti in our house where someone's in a not safe place or they're not in the mood to be touched or things like that. And if someone invokes Kaifuti, it is final and nobody touches them or bothers them until they have given permission to be touched again. Safety can also be the names we call them, the way we talk to them, the way we communicate when they make mistakes or when they're having big feelings. All of those things contribute to a kid's feelings of safety. I was watching a video the other day. If you guys have never been on YouTube and watched a video by Gabor Mate, he has so many great lectures. And for a couple months, I was getting through a 4.5-hour lecture of his, and there was a piece in there of this person who said, hey, I had some difficult issues, but I had a happy childhood. And Dr. Mate, he communicated with him. He said, can I dig into that? And so he started talking about the person's history and what their experiences were, and the man expressed that he had been bullied when he was young. And Dr. Mate asked, who did he talk to about that? And he said, well, nobody. No, I didn't talk to anybody. And Dr. Mate said, well, who would you want your son to tell if he was being bullied? He was like, well, I would want him to tell me. I would want them to talk to me. And Dr. Mate pointed out that the fact that him as a young boy knew that his family wasn't safe to communicate with because they were too busy or because they were too stressed or because he would be judged because of what those experiences were. For whatever reason, he had decided at a young age that his parents were not safe people to communicate that with. And so being able to recognize what am I doing that's contributing to the lack of safety of my kids, but also what am I not doing that's creating safety, that can create safety? And furthermore, what are my experiences that feed that? And safety can be, again, a variety of things. It could be the way we talk. It could be how much energy we put into them telling their story that they're excited about, but we're kind of not. It could be the tone of voice we use, or the attitude, or the warmth, or the coldness in which we engage with the people around us. And so being aware of the way we communicate, whether it's verbal or nonverbal, with our kids about what their importance level is and what their value is to us is powerful. And so if I choose to do things outside of spending time with my kids, now every parent needs a break. I mean, every parent needs a break. But if there's a consistent pattern of there's something else more important than you, it sends messages that violate safety. And then we're curious about, well, why are my adult children not spending time with me? Why don't they want to talk to me? Why don't they want to blah blah? Usually it's because there was a pattern of lack of safety. And so paying attention now that the seeds you're planting now as parents when your kids are young are the things you will harvest when you're older. So if you have hostile, stressed, busy relationships where we're only paying attention when they're playing sports or things like that, that's going to impact whether or not they're going to want to come back and visit for holidays, Christmas, things like that, as they become healthy. And so our job as parents is to identify and recognize and even be curious about what are the things that we can do to create safety, to invite that. The other part of that is when we have adult children, they get to participate in my safety too. And so it's not, when they're kids are not in charge of my safety, but I'm allowed to set boundaries if I have any adults that are around trying to violate my safety or dismiss my needs and feelings. And so being aware of the reciprocity that begins to develop as we have adult children, while also trying to manage that relationship, can be very delicate. But it's worth doing that work, but we have to both be open and willing. And so I hope that paying attention to the safety that you didn't have or you did have, and inviting that into your home with your own kids when you have them, becomes a part of your healing journey. Good luck.